What is up, Cube Media community, and welcome back to the channel. And today, I will show you how to set up your big cubes. Now, for non-cubers who don't do cubing, what does set up your big cubes mean? Well, let's first actually take it back a notch, and what does it mean to set up your 3x3? So basically what it means to set up your 3x3 is to use your preferred lubricants. These are used for either to make the cube slow down, speed up, or give them a controllable feel, or a smooth feel. There are a lot of different kinds of lubes. For example, the ones I'm using here are PiCube Power Lube, which makes the cube have a controllable feel, but gives it a fast, swift speed. Chi Lube, that's a more viscous lube, and also I'm getting into viscosity later, and slows down the cube and gives it a more controllable feel. Weight 5 is used to slow down your cubes a lot, to give it a more controllable and smoother and plush feel. And finally, we have Angstrom Gravitas. By the name itself, it's used to give your cubes a little bit of speed, but also makes them controllable. Now, as you can see, there are 3 different types of applicants here. We have one in a syringe, one in a tin, and 2 in bottles. So I shall show you how to set up big cubes using this. So before you go into this tutorial, I do highly recommend trying to find a tutorial to how to set up a 3x3 first. If you already know how to set up a 3x3, good job. You don't need to watch that. But if you don't know how to set up a 3x3, go watch another video that I'll link down in the video in the description down below. If you haven't ever solved the Rubik's Cube nor plan to get one, just ignore this video. Or watch it, I guess, just for extra info on how cubers make their cubes fast. So let's put the 3x3 to the side, and let us begin. Right, so first thing to do is get your towel out if you're on a table with a mat like this, or if you're not on a table with a mat, you can just do it on the hard surface. First, put down your towel if you are on a mat, and let's go ahead and do the even layer cubes first. So let's move away the odd number cubes first, and let's loop just to kind of drop. So let's move on first to the even layer cubes. So for the even layer cubes, they have these inner wings, these inner pieces right here, as you can see. On the 6x6, there's one main piece, and then there's like 2 wing pieces inside, which is a bit hard to get. As you can hear from the sound, this has already been lubed before. However, my 4x4, it is bone dry. Last time I lubed this was a few weeks ago, so let's start relubing it. So first, turn your cube to 45 degrees and pop out a piece like this. If your cube is not popping out, that means the cube is way too tight, and you should probably loosen it before doing any more taking apart, because you do not want to pull apart a piece and you just hear you'll regret it. So let's pop out the pieces. Ooh, that came out very easily. And now you're seeing what the inner pieces I'm talking about are. So a really important step is that if you're relubing a cube, make sure you clean off the residue lube here. Because as you can see, in the light, the white pieces here are kind of shining. You can't see it through the camera, but I can definitely see it. As you can see in the light, they're kind of like a bit matte, so that means that there's like leftover lube here. So you might want to disassemble the entire cube, dry off all the pieces with lube, and then relube it. But since this thing was just relubed last week, the residual lube is not too much, so I can easily relube it. So let's move on to that part. So basically, with these inner pieces, since this is a cube that I like fast, we'll be using Angstrom and PiCube Power Lube. So first, let's get out the applicator, this little tool right here, and begin. So basically, we take out the tin, we open the tin up. Careful, this lube is very sticky, by the way. So let's open up my lube bottle, and So for even layered cubes, I would highly suggest to grab a generous amount of gravitas or dignitas, depending on what you have, and put it in the inner edge ring. Yeah, just put it in the inner edge ring so that it has contact on the inner edge, or like inner corner in here, because this is where these edges are contacting. So this is where you want to ideally put the lube in, but also don't forget about the outer pieces as well, ideally. So put it there, and next now we are gonna lube the outsides. So we're just gonna grab more lube again. So we're just gonna put it on one side. You can spread it around the other side as well, but this will spread later when we go ahead and turn it. And then on the pieces themselves, you can choose whatever piece you want, but ideally you want at least one edge piece, one center piece, and the corner piece to be covered with your lube applicator, so that it has contacts with parts that will have more lube later. So we're just gonna grab a small amount. For this one, I would recommend a small amount. So we're just gonna put that on the contact areas. So you can choose any piece you want to applicate, but remember it has to be at least one edge piece. Oops, drop the cap. But remember, it always has to be one edge, one centerpiece, and a corner. Or a corner. This is where I apply the gravitas. Put the corner in, but first we're gonna cover it in gravitas. So we're just gonna cover the corner stem of the bottom, because that's where a lot of most of the contact is, and then put it on one side of the corner, and then just insert it. Careful, the lube will probably stick to your hands, so don't be alarmed. You can just clean it off with soap and water. And now we'll just put this to the side, and then there we go. So now your 4x4 is lubed with gravitas. Next now is the squeeze bottle. So first turn it down, make sure the bubble is coming up to the top, as you can see, so that you have an even flow. So I would recommend, depending on the bottle, if it says 2 drops or 3 drops, that's how many you should do. So for this one, I'm gonna do 2 drops. 1 and 2, and then open up the middle area, and either do 1 or 2 drops like the bottle says, and there. Next to the back, do 2 drops again, or at least like 2 drops per side, because we already have enough lube into this cube. After lubing, it's time to spread around lube. So what we're doing is just spreading around the lube so that you can have an even feeling. We're just spreading around the lube. Ideally, if you find your cube too fast, you can add weight 5 if you have weight 5 or chi lube to slow it down. So basically how to apply, we just open up and then we press it in. And I'm not gonna do that right now because, like I said, I want this cube to be fast. So just like that, and there we go. Now your cube is lubed. Now it's same for the 6x6, but just with more layers. So basically what you do is, again, pry out the pieces, but this time we have 2 edges instead, so I would recommend that you lube both pieces. This has already been lubed already, so I don't need to re-lube it again. And then also lube the center pieces here, and as well as the massive corner stuff. So that's for the even cubes, and now it's time for the odd layer cubes. So just like, if also by the way, if your cube is dirty, like the 7x7 here, so that's why I'm not gonna lube this, because it's dirty. Clean it out. It might take you hours, but I promise you cleaning it out will help you have better performance and faster and smoother cube. But anyways, let's re-lube my 5x5. Just like the 4x4, this has not been lubed in a long while. As you can see, I'm having a struggle prying a piece open. Oh, there we go. I was struggling, but remember, don't do what I did. Don't try to pry it out too much. Just want to remind that to people. Now we just take it out again like that, and there we go. Now for the odd layer cubes, since we don't have those inner edges like on the even layer cubes, we can just apply them directly to the pieces. So basically, we just grab some gravitas here, a big scoop, and then we just spread it. And now again, remember our rule of thumb. Remember our rule of thumb: 1 center, 1 edge piece, and also a corner. So we're just gonna do that with the center, and we're just gonna place it in like this. Next up, the edge. It's a bit sticky from residue lube, but it's not too much, so I can easily re-lube it. Next is the corner again. Next up is the corner, so we just need the corners stock, and then this one side like that, and finally place the corner inside like that. It's probably gonna be lube all over your hand, but that's okay. Just wipe it down with a cloth with the towel in front of you. If you do lose lube in the process like this, how this loses lube, you can just reapply it again, like just apply a little bit back onto the corner. Then we insert the final parts of the edge. There we go. Now we're just gonna do the same thing with the even number cubes. We're just gonna open up an area and just do one massive glob of drop, or at least 2 drops in this. You can also do like plops or blobs, but you could also do drops, and then flip the cube around, do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna do drops for this one. 1, 2, there we go. Next up, 1 and 2. There we go. And now if you're finished, so your cubes, so we just put that away. You wipe this down and put it away. Alright, so once it's lubed, of course, now we start turning. Spread the lube, and now your cube is ready. If the lube starts leaking out, just wipe it down on the towel. Don't use a rough towel like me right now. Just use a very smooth towel, like a soft towel made out of soft material, so that your cube doesn't get scratches or something. that's how you set up your Rubik's Cubes. Now, I know that I only showed 2 cubes, but honestly, once you know how to do 3x3, you understand the principles on how to do 4, 5, 6, and 7. Just like now, how I showed you to do 4 and 5. That's the same thing you're gonna do to 6 and 7, just slightly bigger. So yeah. Also, other takeaways: if your cube starts feeling a little bit over gummied, or like very slow after relubing it, I think it now means that you should probably clean out your cube and reapply some fresh lube. Meaning that if your cube is starting to turn slow, like for example like this, like very hard to turn, that means it's been over lubed, or all the lube residue has made pieces stuck together, so that means it's probably time to clean it out. Or you need to clean out, reapply the lube you did, and make sure that it's at the right measurements. But anyways, that's it from me. My name is Cubino34, signing off.